Hello, I'm Quincy, reporting to you live from the Beacon Food Forest, one of the many community gardens here in the South Seattle area. Picture this, everybody having access to organic, fresh produce. Well, this could be reality if we implement more pea patches, community gardens, rooftop gardens, and classroom gardens here in Seattle. In 2013, the City of Seattle wrote the Seattle Climate Action Plan, which focuses on the city's actions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also to support vibrant neighborhoods, economic prosperity, and social equality. The goal that my group is focusing on is expanding community gardening and urban agriculture opportunities at pea patches, schools, and on rooftops, and inventory vacant land that could be used for farming. This goal talks about creating more opportunities for people to garden in their community and expanding the places that are accessible for people to use. Meeting this goal would mean finding and using open space or rooftops to build community gardens and providing opportunities for people to get involved in the gardens.
This goal has to do with climate change because the agriculture industry accounted for 11% of the total U.S. greenhouse gases in 2020 alone, and it is continuing to grow. From 1990 to 2020, greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture have increased by 6%. So being able to grow your own food or being able to access food from a community garden can help cut down the emissions that are used in agriculture industry around the U.S. Another way that pea patches help stop climate change is because they take in CO2 and release oxygen. On average, each pea patch creates an average of 519,840 milliliters of oxygen per day. Implementing more pea patches would help release more oxygen into the atmosphere, and because plants do photosynthesis, it can help take CO2 out and put more oxygen into the air. And that's not all. More community gardens can help us adapt to climate change. Community engagement in those gardens would also provide fresh organic food for those in communities like food deserts. Climate change increasing major sources of food like farms will be affected, and this is a way to ensure food security. It also helps people prepare to the future because it's teaching people how to get organic and locally grown produce. Seattle is a growing city and lots of people are moving into it. Because of the influx of people, everything is priced up. This causes a big dent in most people's bank accounts. And the recent price increase of imported goods is also not helping anyone. Building more community gardens will provide easy access to fresh produce. It'll be a lot cheaper and it'll decrease our food insecurity rates.
Through a study of Seattle food insecurity, Black and Hispanic Latinx households are twice as likely to experience food insecurity, 34% as of 2020 compared to white households. Having more access to foods that aren't priced up yearly can provide the households in need of more food. The area of Southeast Seattle has been affected the most, with a 25% of food insecurity in the area alone. If we were to build more pea patches in the communities, it would ensure that everyone has access to food. As you can see, here are two maps, one of people of color and one people living in poverty. And as you can see, there are a lot of overlaps in these two maps. The City of Seattle pledged to expand community gardens in Seattle, but as you can see on this map, out of the 89 pea patches that are established in Seattle, only 5 of those have been made after the Climate Action Plan in 2013. If you search up the city's progress, nothing answers our question. The city hasn't met its goal, and the food insecurity rates have gone higher quicker than ever. Even when you click on links that look like they could lead us to the right information, the link takes you to a non-existent page. Community gardens live up to their names. They help communities in so many ways, but they are often overlooked. The lack of data means that less people are aware of these gardens, contributing to the not met goals of Seattle's pea patches.
The City of Seattle has not kept its promise. In the 2013 Climate Action Pledge, Seattle pledged to use available land and rooftops to expand community gardens and pea patches by 2015. However, barely any pea patches have been built in those years. Not only have they not acted on their plan, but they put no information out about their hopes for community gardens in the future. Food insecurity and climate change is still a huge issue in our city and is rapidly getting worse. Food insecurity rates in the state of Washington have risen from 10% to 27% just during the pandemic. The people of Seattle deserve a government that will act and communicate with its community. On a major level, we want the city to follow through with a plan previously set in 2013 and implement 11 more community gardens into Seattle, specifically in low-income BIPOC neighborhoods. These gardens will give people access to not only cheap organic produce, but will also educate people on the importance of taking care of the earth. An example of this would be the community garden system they have set up in New York City. There is a program in NYC similar to the pea patches in Seattle called Grow NYC. Currently, New York has over 200 gardens compared to Seattle, which currently has 89. As a part of this program, they donated nearly 3 million pounds of food to the community. But not only do they provide organic food, they also focus on community involvement and outdoor education, and are committed to zero waste. If Seattle acted on their pledge, we could help Seattleites who are suffering from food insecurity as they have done in New York, and also build a greener community. This is a graph we made of how many pounds of harvest you get from each pea patch. As you can see, implementing more pea patches in the community would produce more food. On a personal level, it's the little things that you do that make a big difference. Planting your own garden, donating fresh produce, signing up to volunteer at a community garden, and donating towards community gardens are just some things that you can do. Ultimately, community gardens come from the community, and it's up to us to help make these plans a reality.